Hello and welcome to this hands-on lab session, which is a continuation to the previous IAM hands-on lab. All right, so now we need to create the IAM role for EC2 instance. IAM, let us go to roles, create role. It is a very simple workflow, highly intuitive. Select type of trusted entity. We want an AWS service to have this role. Which service? EC2. There are a lot of other services for which roles can be created. Some of these we will actually. EC2, permission. Now what do we want this EC2 to do? We want this EC2 to make the S3 API call to get bucket name. So let's not get into complication and let us give it S3 full access. Amazon S3 full access. If you see, it has S3 access on all S3 buckets. All right, great. We don't need tag, role name, EC2, S3 full access. Wonderful. Create role. Now this role is created. What we need to do is let us first see if this, because the session is still alive. Otherwise we would have to reconnect. So we need to attach this IAM role to this EC2 instance. Again, when we were creating EC2 instance, I pointed out that there was a setting, assign an IAM role. But don't worry, we can assign an IAM role after creating an EC2 instance as well. Now that it is running, we go to actions, go to security, modify IAM role. Choose IAM role. Which IAM role? EC2 S3 full access. Wonderful, we are getting close. So now this EC2 instance in which we are logged in has S3 full access, so it can do anything on any S3 bucket. Can it actually call this API? Here you go. It can, and it did. Wonderful. So till now, we have understood policy associated with an IAM user, which was our IAM user, the admin policy. We have understood how roles can be created and assigned to another AWS resource to access some other AWS resource. And now let us do something else. In one of the hands-on lab, we had created S3 bucket policy, right? What was that bucket policy? To grant public access on that bucket. So let us go to that S3 bucket. Great. I want to see the policy, although we briefly discussed it, but let us revisit it. What does it say? It says that action is S3 get object. So because of this policy, anyone can only get the object, not modify and upload it. Please understand this. It is only this API call which is allowed for all the principals, for everyone, and on this particular resource only, not on all the S3 buckets, but on teach Amit K S3 bucket, and it's // means it's objects. So the resources teacher Amit K, this S3 buckets objects. You can issue get bucket API call, which means you can actually hit the HTTPS URL for this object and you can download the object. and it is for everyone. Effect is allow. That's it. So if you gradually get into the habit of reading policy documents, there's nothing better than this. There's one more thing that we can do. Let us go to roles. This is what we have created. S3 full access has effect, action, resource. But I told you something that when we were doing conceptual walkthrough, that it also has a trust relationship, which contains principle, although it has effect and action. So I'll just explain this. Effect is allow. Please ignore this as of now, which means it allows. It is not denying. It's not stopping. Principle is EC2 Amazon AWS.com. So this role was specifically created for EC2 instances. Any EC2 instance, not a specific, any EC2 instance. So principle, the entity which can assume this role is an EC2 instance, ec2.amazonaws.com. And the action is assume. STS is a different ballgame altogether. We are not going into this. Assume role. So EC2 instances assume this role whenever they need to make the API call. Which API call? Any API call allowed by this policy document. That's it. Probably I'm oversimplifying, but because this is how I have always understood AWS IAM, and I'll strongly recommend you guys to get into the habit of going through these policy documents and start making sense out of them. So that will be it for this hands-on lab. Thank you, and looking forward to seeing you in the next lesson.